If you met us a year ago, you'd probably call us fine. We weren't one of those couples constantly posting gushy anniversary reels, but we were stable. Date night twice a month. Family vacations. I was the guy who bragged about how my wife could handle anything. But somewhere around 4 years ago, little things started to feel off. Not, I suspect, an affair off. More like, I can't find the rhythm with the person I married off. Lauren started doing these last-minute work meetings that always landed on random weeknights. Campaign crunch, client dinner, conference planning. She'd leave at 6:30 p.m. looking like she was going to a red carpet and come home after midnight with that hyper alert, too bright energy people get when they're trying to act normal. She also got weird about her phone. Like, not just privacy weird, strategic weird. If I walked into the kitchen and she was texting, she'd angle her body away. If I asked, "Who's that?" she'd do this little laugh like I was being silly. "Oh my gosh, babe, it's literally just Jenna from work." Always Jenna. Jenna was apparently the most active human being alive. And then there were the little micro jabs. Lauren has always been, let's say, blunt. But it shifted from playful sarcasm into something sharper. I'd forget to empty the dishwasher and it wasn't, "Hey, can you do that?" It was, "Do you ever do anything without being asked?" I'd buy the wrong brand of oat milk, and it was a full-on critique of my competence as a person. I chalked it up to stress. Kids, money, life. I did what a lot of husbands do. I tried to fix it by trying harder. More chores, more planning, more "how can I support you?" conversations. She'd accept it like it was payment she was owed. It never softened her. The part that makes me sick now is how consistent she was about one thing: hotel points. We weren't rich, but Lauren always wanted us to rack up points for family trips. She had a couple hotel apps on her phone and she'd mention promotions like it was a hobby. "Babe, if we stay 2 nights at Hilton this month we get double points." It was one of those harmless grown-up interests, like coupons. Yeah, harmless. This didn't happen because I'm some genius detective. It happened because of a stupid, boring adult problem. My credit card got flagged. 2 months ago, I'm at work and my phone buzzes with a fraud alert. Possible suspicious charge. $214.39 at Westbrook Suites. I didn't recognize it. I text Lauren, "Hey, did you book a hotel? Card got pinged." She replied almost instantly, "No, that's weird. Call the bank." I called. Bank reversed the charge, issued a new card. I went home and told Lauren about it. She looked genuinely annoyed, like the bank was inconveniencing her personally. So annoying. "You should keep your card locked when you're not using it." I laughed like, "Yeah, because I'm definitely the problem here." She didn't laugh. The next day I checked our account anyway just because I'm paranoid about money. I found 2 more hotel charges from the past month that I'd missed because they were in the middle of normal stuff. One was $189. Another was $233. Different hotels. Same area. My first thought wasn't a fare. It was identity theft, or someone skimmed the card, or Lauren is planning a surprise trip. That's how far my brain was from the truth, so I brought it up gently. "Hey, I noticed a couple other hotel charges. Do you know what these are?" Lauren didn't even look up from her phone. "Probably the conference stuff. They reimburse me," I said, "but they're on our card." She sighed like I was a child asking why the sky is blue. "Because my company card has a limit and I'm waiting on finance to raise it. I told you marketing is chaos." I asked what conference. She said, "The one I told you about." I told her she hadn't. She rolled her eyes and did this little head shake like I was exhausting. "Oh my God, yes I did. You don't listen when I talk." That line hit me weird. Not because I'm perfect, I'm not, but because it felt practiced. Like she'd used it on someone else and it worked. I let it go, but I started watching. Not in a creepy way. In an "I'm trying to find the missing puzzle piece" way. A week later, I picked up her laundry and found a key card sleeve in her blazer pocket. Plain white. Westbrook Suites. My stomach dropped, but I still tried to rationalize. Conferences, meetings, work. Then, because I'm an idiot, I did what I always do when I'm stressed. I tried to solve the problem. I logged into our shared email account to search for Westbrook because sometimes receipts auto-send. I wasn't trying to snoop through her private stuff. We've always shared the family account for bills. Except I typed Westbrook and the search results were a lot. Reservation confirmations. Not one, not two, dozens going back years. And here's where the betrayal goes from maybe there's a weird explanation to my life is a lie. The reservations weren't in her name. They were in Derek's. Same hotel chain. Different locations around our area. Usually midweek. Usually one night. Sometimes two. My brain did this thing where it tried to put Derek into a normal category. Like, maybe he travels for work and accidentally used our email. But the reservations were tied to Lauren's loyalty number. Her points. Her family trip points. I clicked one confirmation and saw the note, requested high floor away from elevator. That's not an accident, that's a routine. I sat at my desk at home with the screen glowing and I swear my body went cold. Like physically cold. My hands started shaking. I could hear the washing machine in the other room, churning like nothing on earth had changed. I didn't confront her right away. I needed, I don't even know, proof, strength, a plan, so I dug. Again, not proud, but I did. I checked our phone bill. There were dozens of calls to a number saved on her phone as Jenna. That number belonged to Derek. I know because I still have Derek's old number saved from high school, and it was one digit off. He changed it at some point. She saved it as Jenna. I checked hotel dates against Lauren's work meetings. They matched almost perfectly. Then the final punch came from the dumbest place, the kid's tablet. Lauren had logged into her email on it once to print something, and it saved her recent attachments. There was a screenshot attachment with no subject line, just a file. It was a selfie. Lauren in a hotel mirror. Hair done. Makeup done. A bed behind her. And Derek's reflection in the background, half visible like a ghost caught by accident. It's weird what your brain notices. Not the bed. Not the obvious. I noticed Derek's watch. The same watch I bought him as a groomsman gift. I sat on the floor in the hallway because my legs stopped working like they belonged to me. I didn't cry right away. I just stared. Like if I stared long enough, the universe would reverse it. While I'm sitting there, stunned, my phone rings. It's the school nurse. My oldest had tripped at recess and hit his head. Not serious, but they wanted me to pick him up and monitor him. So I'm driving to the school in this fog thinking, my wife and my brother friend have been doing this for years. And then I'm buckling my kid into the car seat and he's like, Daddy, can we get ice cream? And I'm forcing my voice to sound normal. I got him ice cream. I smiled. I said, sure, buddy. I remember thinking this is what it feels like to split into two people. One person is Dad. One person is a man whose chest is full of broken glass. I waited until the kids were asleep. Not because I was being strategic, because I didn't trust myself. Lauren came downstairs around 10:30 in sweats, hair up, like she hadn't been out at all. She grabbed a sparkling water and started scrolling, like it was a normal Tuesday. I said, we need to talk. She didn't look up. About what? I put my phone on the table and slid it toward her. It had the screenshot open. Her eyes flicked to it. For half a second I saw something real, fear maybe, before she snapped it shut like a trap. That's not what you think, she said immediately. Classic. I said, Lauren, that's you. That's Derek. She went defensive in a way that felt almost automatic. Why were you going through my stuff? I said. Because our card got flagged for hotel charges and your explanation didn't make any sense. She scoffed. Oh my God, so you're spying on me now? I didn't yell. I was weirdly calm. I said, how long? She laughed. Like genuinely laughed, but it was ugly. You are being dramatic. How long? I repeated. She leaned back and crossed her arms like she was the judge and I was the annoying attorney. Nothing happened. That phone, Derek was dropping something off. You're twisting it. I stared at her. Dropping something off in a hotel with your loyalty number, with dozens of reservations, with your Jenna number being Derek's, with the same dates as your work meetings. Her face tightened. And then she did this thing I will never forget. She smiled. Not a happy smile. A small, tight smile like she was about to try a different tactic. Okay, she said slowly. First of all, those hotel reservations are for events. It's networking. People in marketing do this. You wouldn't understand because you sit behind a screen all day. There it was. The jab, the disrespect, the attempt to put me beneath her so I doubt myself. I said, Lauren, stop. She rolled her eyes hard. Fine. You want the truth. Derek and I have been close. It's not like you think, it's complicated. I said, close how? She threw her hands up. I can't even talk to you because you're already acting like I'm some villain. I said, are you sleeping with him? She didn't answer. She looked away and took a sip of her drink. That's an answer. I felt my throat close. My voice cracked anyway. How long? She sighed like she'd been asked to do a chore. A while. A while is not an answer. She set the can down and said, look, you've been checked out for years. You're always tired. You never plan anything. You barely touch me. I felt alone. Every line felt like it came from a script called How to Blame the Person You Hurt. I said, we have 2 kids, I work, I do half the house. I've begged you to talk to me. I've asked if you were okay. She shrugged. And asking isn't the same as doing. Then she went into full denial again. Also, it wasn't years, that's ridiculous. I pulled up the reservations on my laptop and turned it toward her. Dates, confirmations, locations, years. Her eyes widened, and for a second I thought she might finally break and just tell the truth. Instead, she snapped. You're insane. I said, Lauren, it's right there. She stood up, voice rising. Okay, yeah, we met up sometimes. But you are acting like it's some huge thing. It was just an escape. It didn't mean anything. I said, for how long? She stared at the screen and then said very quietly, since before we got married. I swear I heard a sound in my head like something cracking. I said, so you've been doing this for basically our entire marriage. She snapped back loud again, like volume could change reality. Not the entire time. There were breaks. I laughed, and it came out like a broken cough. Breaks. That's your defense, that you took breaks from betraying me. Then she did something so cold it still replays in my mind. She looked at me like I was inconveniencing her and said, what do you want me to do, go back in time? I said, I want you to tell me the truth. She shook her head. Truth is complicated. No, truth is truth. You lied to me. You lied to my face. You used our money. You used our email. You used hotel points like it was a hobby. You saved his number as Jenna. You looked me in the eye and made me feel crazy. Her eyes flashed. Don't be so dramatic. I said, did Derek know about the kids, about our life? She laughed again. Of course he did. He's not an idiot. I felt nauseous. Then she hit me with another line that felt like a knife. Honestly, I didn't think you'd ever find out. Like I was just not worth the effort of hiding it better. I asked if she loved him. She said, don't do this. I asked if she planned to stop. She said, I don't know. And that's when something in me went very quiet. Like my anger ran into a wall and behind it was this huge, empty space. I told her I needed her to leave the house for the night. She snorted. No, this is my house too, I said. Then I'll leave. She shrugged like she didn't care. Fine. So I grabbed a bag, sat in my car in the driveway, and stared at the steering wheel for an hour because I couldn't think of where to go. It was 1 a.m. and all I could think was, Derek has probably been in my house. He has probably sat on my couch. He has probably held my kids. The first week after is a blur of body feelings. No appetite. Then suddenly starving at 3 a.m. Random shaking. My heart pounding like I was running even when I was sitting still. I kept replaying every memory like it was evidence in a trial. Our wedding day. Derek hugging me. Lauren smiling. Both of them looking so normal. Lauren's work meetings on nights I stayed home with babies and thought I was being a supportive husband. Every time I felt like she was distant and blamed myself. The hotel points conversations. This will be great for the kids. I want to laugh and cry at the same time. I also kept having these humiliating mental images of them together in a hotel room. Not even the graphic stuff, just the intimacy, the shared jokes, the comfort, the part that should have been ours. Lauren did not become remorseful, not really. She oscillated between angry and dismissive. One day she'd cry and say she didn't mean to hurt me. The next day she'd snap, "You're being cruel because I asked her to sleep in the guest room." She tried to control the narrative immediately. She told her sister I was accusing her of things and going through her phone. She told a mutual friend that we were having issues, and I was making her feel unsafe emotionally. I started to understand something. Lauren wasn't just lying to protect herself. She liked lying because it let her shape reality. I texted Derek. "I'll be honest, I wanted to send something that would get me banned from polite society. Instead I wrote, 'Did you sleep with my wife?' He took 3 hours to reply. He said, 'Man, I never wanted to hurt you.' Not a denial, not a mistake, not an apology, just that. I replied, 'How long?' He said, 'It's complicated.' I swear they share the same playbook. I called him. He didn't answer. I left a voicemail and I kept my voice calm because I didn't want to give him the satisfaction of hearing me fall apart. I said, 'You were my brother. If you have any shred of decency left, you will tell me the truth. Otherwise, I will assume the worst and treat you accordingly.' He never called back. That silence did something to me. It wasn't just anger. It was grief, like someone died. Because in a way, someone did. The Derek I knew, the kid who sat beside me at my dad's funeral, doesn't exist anymore. Or maybe he never did, and I just didn't have the eyes to see him. There were moments I thought about staying and trying counseling. Not because Lauren earned it, but because I was terrified of blowing up our kids' world. I'd look at them sleeping and think, I can swallow anything if it means they don't hurt. But then I'd hear Lauren on the phone in the next room, laughing softly, and I'd wonder if she was talking to Derek, and I'd feel like my insides were turning to ash. About 2 weeks after the confrontation, Lauren left for one of her errands. She was gone longer than expected. I was trying to cook dinner while the kids ran around like tiny tornadoes. My phone buzzed with a notification from the hotel rewards account. Yes, I had changed passwords, but I'd left alerts on because I was trying to track spending for separation planning. The alert said, "New booking confirmed." Same chain, same area, the booking name, Derek. My hands went numb. I stared at the screen like it was a live wire. Then maybe 5 minutes later, there's a pounding on my front door so hard the whole thing shook. I opened it and it was a police officer. My heart stopped. That primal fear, car accident, kid emergency, hit so fast it made me dizzy. The officer asked if I was Mark Carter. I said yes. He said, "Sir, your wife was in a minor collision. She's okay, but she asked us to come get her husband because her phone got damaged and she can't access her contacts." I just stood there, holding the door, my brain trying to do math it didn't want to do. Minor collision, phone damaged, and a hotel booking 5 minutes earlier. So she was either on her way to meet Derek when she got into the accident, or she booked it and then lied about where she was going, or she got caught and this was part of some larger mess. I told the officer I'd arrange childcare and come. At the scene, Lauren was sitting on the curb, perfectly composed, like she was waiting for an Uber. Her car had a dented bumper. She looked at me and immediately started crying like she was auditioning for something. "Oh my God, babe," she said, rushing into my arms like I was her safe place. I didn't hug her. I stepped back. Her eyes narrowed for a second, then widened, then she switched tactics. "Are you really going to do this right now?" I said very quietly. "Where were you going?" She blinked. "Home, I was coming home." I held up my phone. "Then why did you book a hotel under Derek's name 10 minutes ago?" Her face changed, not into shame, into irritation. "Are you stalking me?" she hissed under her breath like I was the problem. The officer asked if everything was okay. Lauren immediately put on a sweet voice. "Yes, officer, we're fine. It's just been a stressful day." Then she turned back to me, tears gone like a faucet turning off, and said, "Not here." And that moment, standing on the side of the road, her car banged up, a police officer watching, her switching faces like masks, something clicked. This wasn't a woman who made a mistake and panicked. This was someone who could crash her car on the way to meet her affair partner and still try to use me as emotional support like I was her assistant. I drove her home because I didn't want the situation to get uglier with the kids involved, but the entire drive she kept trying to talk like nothing was happening. I could have been hurt, Mark. I said. You weren't. Why are you being cold? I said. Because you booked a hotel for Derek while you were leaving the house. She snapped. It's not like you're perfect. I almost laughed again, but I didn't. I just felt tired in my bones. That night I slept in the guest room with the door locked. The next morning I called a lawyer. I didn't tell Lauren I was calling a lawyer. I learned quickly that if Lauren knows what you're doing, she tries to control it. She doesn't meet you in reality, she tries to edit it. The lawyer didn't gasp or judge. She just asked practical questions: assets, debts, custody preferences, evidence. I started gathering everything quietly: screenshots of the reservations, the fraud alerts, the phone logs. The hotel rewards history, not because I want revenge, but because I don't trust Lauren not to rewrite the story later. And she is already trying. She started telling people we are taking space. She started dropping hints that I'm unstable. She used the word controlling when she described me asking about hotel charges. She also started being weirdly nice around the kids, like she was performing best mom ever in case an audience appears. A week after I called the lawyer, I told Lauren I wanted a separation. She didn't cry. She didn't beg. She got angry. You're really doing this, she said, like I was canceling a vacation. I said, yes. She laughed in this sharp little way. Over something that doesn't even matter anymore. I said, it mattered every day you lied. She rolled her eyes. You're going to ruin the kids' lives because you can't get over your ego. That line almost worked, because I do worry about the kids more than I worry about myself. But then I pictured my son asking for ice cream while my world was collapsing, and I thought, what ruins their lives is watching their dad swallow pain until he disappears. I told her we'd be doing custody schedules through the lawyer and a mediator. She said, you can't afford that. I said, we can't afford what you've been doing either. She said, I'm not leaving. I said, then we'll do an in-house separation until the paperwork is done. She smirked. Good luck. That's where we are right now. Living in the same house, different rooms, pretending for the kids. It feels like living next to a stranger who knows exactly how to press every button. Derek has tried to contact me once, an email that said, I'm sorry you're hurting. I didn't reply. The audacity of him framing it like my pain is this unfortunate weather event that just happened to me, not something he helped create. I told my mom. She cried. I told my sister. She got so angry I had to ask her not to show up at my house. I told one close friend who didn't try to fix it, just sat with me and said, I'm here. That friend has been a lifeline, because Lauren keeps trying to make me doubt myself. Like if she can fog up reality enough, I'll get tired and give in. But I'm not giving in. I'm documenting everything. I'm keeping conversations in writing as much as possible. I'm focusing on the kids' routines. I'm not talking badly about Lauren in front of them. I'm going to therapy because I can feel the betrayal trying to turn into bitterness, and I don't want my kids to inherit that. And I'm learning slowly that acceptance doesn't mean it's okay. It just means I stop fighting the truth. Here's what I've learned so far, in case anyone listening this is in the early fog stages. Pay attention to patterns, not excuses. A single weird night can be stress. A recurring work meeting paired with secretiveness, money weirdness, and hostility is a pattern. People who are telling the truth can answer simple questions simply. Someone who lies smoothly will try to make you feel guilty for asking. Lauren's first move wasn't remorse. It was to accuse me of spying, to make my questions the crime. If you're dealing with someone like that, stop expecting the conversation to feel fair. Proof matters, even if you wish it didn't. I hate that I had to gather evidence like I was building a case. But when someone is committed to rewriting reality, you need anchors. You can love your kids and still leave. This is the hardest one. I'm still working on it. But I keep coming back to this. I want my kids to grow up seeing boundaries, self-respect, and honesty. I don't want them to grow up thinking love means swallowing betrayal. Betrayal changes the past, not just the present. That's what hurts in a special way. It's not just she did something now. It's that I have to relabel years of my life, moments I thought were ours. I don't know how to grieve that without becoming someone I don't recognize, but I'm trying. I don't know what the final version of my life looks like yet. I just know I can't keep living with the version where I'm the guy who gets lied to and then told he's dramatic for bleeding. If anyone has been through a long-term affair discovery, especially one involving someone close, how did you handle the rage without it swallowing you? How did you keep your head when the other person acts like you're the problem? I'm doing the practical steps: lawyer, therapy, documentation, parenting schedule planning. But emotionally, some nights I still sit in the dark and think about Derek's speech at my wedding about being brothers, and I wonder how a person can say words like that and then spend years helping my wife destroy me in slow motion. And then I remember my kid asking for ice cream, and I tell myself, keep going for them, and eventually keep going for me.